You're listening to iLiveUK, changing the way you listen to radio. iLiveUK.
Talks honest. Talks honest. Talks honest. Talks honest. Hello and welcome. You are tuned into iLiveUK, changing the way you listen to radio. I'm your host, Miss Law, and this is a platform and an opportunity for you to discuss topics never spoken but often thought of. You can connect with us by contacting us on 0208 638 8503 or all the W's uk.iliveradio.com.
What if we spoke honestly? 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 What if we spoke honestly?
Hello and welcome to Talks Honest. I'm Miss Law, and my special guest today is Suzanne Kirlew. She is a vegan cook, a TV presenter, and an author. I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome Suzanne Kirlew. So today we're going to be talking about a number of things that you do. But to start with, I would like you to just give us a bit of background information about yourself.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure.
I'm a vegan cook, I'm an author, presenter, and a producer as well of television programs as well. So I do quite a lot of things. I'm also a food writer. I had a column in Pride magazine, the Black Women's magazine. I had one in there for a year, and I had a column in the Islington Gazette for a year as well. So I write about food as well.
What we'll do is we're going to elaborate a bit more on each one of those, because obviously you cover quite a lot of ground.
Yes.
And I think people will be interested to know all these different things that you've done so far. So with regards to your background, where do you originate from?
My country of origin is Jamaica. My parents are from Jamaica. I was born here in the UK, but when I was 5, my parents took myself and my sisters to Jamaica for 5 years, so I came back to the UK when I was 10.
Okay, so you're a Caribbean child.
I am, yes.
That experience must have been quite moulding for you also.
Yes, definitely. It helped me to kind of solidify my identity and know everything about my culture as
Excellent.
well. Yeah.
That's awesome. And it's nice to have that grounding, right?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So can I ask, if you were to have children, would you want your children to go back to the Caribbean, or would it be something?
They would definitely be familiar. It depends when you say go back to the Caribbean, what you mean. I would definitely want them to do part of their schooling there.
That's exactly where I was going with that.
Yeah.
Also, I went to school in the Caribbean as well, so it's quite interesting that you've actually experienced that. I've experienced that, and we both feel the same way.
Yes.
Okay, so your book. No, actually, let's this thing. Your website.
Yes.
KirlySuesKitchen.
Yes.
Kitchen.
Curly
sorry.
with a K. KirlySuesKitchen. Yeah.
Why did you choose that name?
Well, it's a version of my name. My name is Suzanne Kirlew, but Curly Sue, I have curly hair, obviously. And when I was at school, when I was small, one of my nicknames was Curly Sue because I had curly hair. So I was thinking, well, Jamie Oliver was originally, he was called the Naked Chef.
Yes.
So when I wrote my very first book, I thought, well, I want a name as well. So the name I came up with was Curly Sue, but it's spelt differently. Mine is spelled Kirly, Curly Sue, Curly-Sue.
Yes.
So KirlySuesKitchen, because my surname is spelled Kirlew, so it's kind of like a version of that.
So it's a version of you.
It is a version of me, yes, it's still me.
Indeed.
But it's funny, some people just call me Curly Sue because on my social media, people know me as Curly Sue. Yes.
So you're Curly Sue and you're Suzanne Kirlew.
I'm both, yes.
Indeed.
Yes.
So, okay, Curly Sue's Kitchen. can you just tell us a little bit or a lot about that?
KirlySuesKitchen came about in 2012 because I was a vegetarian before I became a vegan.
Okay.
So I was a vegetarian for 20-something years. So about 7 years ago, I became a vegan. But prior to that, I had written my first cookbook in 2012, which was vegan anyway. And then I've written some other books in between. And I thought, well, all of my cookbooks are vegan, so why am I a vegetarian? So besides that, I made the decision to become a vegan. So KirlySuesKitchen, I've written a series of books. Yes. I have a social media following. So I'm on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of those.
You're connected everywhere.
Yeah, so all of those. And I basically help people with recipes and videos as well for vegan cooking.
Right. So I mean, you're doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
Which is good, because obviously being vegan is a struggle. Can be a struggle if you don't know where to source information from.
Yes.
And you seem to be a wealth of knowledge.
Thank you.
Your journey has been a long journey.
Yes.
And obviously you have a lot to tell people and educate them. So tell me, you were a vegetarian.
I was a vegetarian, yes. So shall I tell you about what made me make the transition?
That's the question I was just about to pose on you. Yes.
So I was a vegetarian and I just thought, well, that's good enough. That's fine.
Yes.
So, and there's nothing wrong with being a vegetarian, but for me, I felt I needed to go the other step to become a vegan. So I started to do some research. So I started to read different books. I read the China Study.
Okay.
And then I started to watch different documentaries and films. So I watched Forks Over Knives, Got the Truth About Milk, Vegucated, Cowspiracy, and more recently I watched the new one on Netflix. I've forgotten what it's called.
Okay.
So yeah, I was watching a lot of Game Changers.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was watching all of those things, but what was the deciding moment for me is when I was reading the China Study. And to just explain, the China Study is a book that is a kind of compilation of studies that were done over a 20-year period in rural parts of China about why these people are so healthy. Now, they did rural parts of China because those parts only have people from China and from nowhere else in the world, and they've been there for at least 100 years. So it was kind of like a perfect place to do a, if you like, controlled study. And a number of doctors did some research on these people, and they were trying to find out what made them healthy. Now, the main guy who wrote the book China Study, T. Colin Campbell, he's a doctor. He grew up as a dairy farmer, so he was very pro, obviously dairy to start with, and meat. But then what he discovered is the reason why these people are so healthy is because they're vegan in those areas. Or if they did eat any meat, fish or dairy, it was very, very small amounts and very rarely. So in addition to that, he quotes a statistic in the book, and I don't know it verbatim, so I'm kind of going to paraphrase. Okay. It says, if you eat meat and fish, roughly 70% of what you eat has saturated fat. If you're a vegetarian, it's exactly the same figure. But if you're a vegan, it drops to kind of 30-something%. So I thought, oh.
Interesting, right?
Yeah, what I thought I was achieving through vegetarianism, I thought, well, no, it's not. It's not to say you can't get loads of fatty foods from being a vegan. You certainly can. Indeed. But you obviously you're going to have less opportunities for those kind of saturated fats.
Correct, yes.
So then I made the decision to become a vegan. Now, it wasn't too difficult because even though I was a vegetarian, I was a dairy avoider, so I didn't have a lot of dairy anyway.
Yes, so the journey was easier for you, the transition, yes.
Definitely. And also eating out was a bit of a challenge because obviously if you're going from vegetarian to vegan, there was at the time more vegetarian options and probably not many vegan options. But now, I mean, there's been a huge boom, which is great. Yeah,
most definitely. Yeah.
And nice options as well, and not just one option.
Creative, pleasant tasting.
Yes.
Not just some salad.
Yes, because sometimes you go to places and they have one vegan option. So I always say to them, you see the way meat and fish eaters don't all like the same thing. I said, it's actually the same for vegans. We don't all like the same things. Just because it's vegan, that doesn't mean we'll like it.
Yeah, that's correct.
And they're like, oh, we just thought, well, it was good to have an option. I said, I applaud your efforts, but
you need
2 or 3 would be really great.
That's more of an option, isn't it?
That's
they're giving us one option as opposed to
just eat that.
and settle for that or have nothing.
Yes.
So you were vegetarian, you became a vegan. What inspired you to do what you do today?
Well, it kind of came about partly by necessity, because when I first became a vegetarian, I wasn't keen on the recipes that were available then.
Okay.
They were, for me, a bit bland, and, you know, coming from Jamaican parents, we're used to
flavour some food,
things with high volume, bold flavours. So I couldn't find any, so I started to come up with recipes myself and collate them, and then take a recipe and kind of veganize it and then give it my own kind of spin, so it had the sort of flavors that I would enjoy. So I thought, actually, this could be a book. So I decided to do my first book.
So initially you weren't thinking about a book. You were just playing with veganism, so to speak.
Yes, I wasn't setting out to do a book. It just kind of evolved into a book.
Excellent.
So after I did my first book, prior to doing my first book, I was in America for a short while as a news anchor.
Okay.
So whilst I was the news anchor in America, there was another organization who said, we would like you to come and be a presenter for us for some of our cooking shows. But at the time I wasn't really doing much with regard to cooking.
Okay.
So then a couple of years later I wrote the book, and I thought, how can I promote this book? And I thought, actually, let me get in contact with those people, the same television company in America, and see what they say. So I contacted them and said, hi, do you remember me? You'd asked me to come and do some cooking shows. I've just written a vegan cookbook. What's your thoughts? And they emailed back and they went, great, get on a plane.
Excellent.
And come. So I ended up doing cooking shows for them for 4 years in a row, and coronavirus permitting, I will be flying there later on in this year to record some more shows.
So tell me about that experience, because obviously that's major. You write a book that you wasn't planning to write.
Yeah.
Just from trying to be creative with recipes. And you now have a book. You were previously asked to come and do some cook programs. Now those connections have been made.
Yeah. You've
made that journey. Tell us a little bit about that experience, because that doesn't happen every day.
It doesn't, and it's kind of a bit surreal because it happens and you think, because sometimes I have to kind of ask my sister, I say, is that a good thing? She's like, yes, of course it is. She goes, how many people do you know that happens to?
You're
and
quite
I'm like,
humble,
okay.
aren't you?
Because I try to kind of be humble and grateful for my opportunities, not like, oh wow, look what no, not at all. So it was quite surreal. The first year that I flew out to do some shows, it was all new for me, because I'd been in a TV studio lots of times in the UK, but I'd never gone to America to do it. And television is television, but it was a bit different there and so forth as well. But it was an amazing experience. It was a very long journey, because it's in West Frankfort, Illinois.
Okay.
So to get there from the UK, you have to fly from London to either Texas or Chicago.
Okay.
Then you have to get a domestic flight to St. Louis International Airport, and then it's a 2.5 hour drive, but they come and pick you up.
So that was like a never-ending journey, right?
Well, when you get there, it's kind of like, you know, at the beginning of the Wizard of Oz, where you're like, okay, so where is everyone? Because the studio's on 83 acres of land.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So
that's interesting.
Yes. It's huge. It's huge. Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't expecting you to say that.
No.
I was expecting to say, like, you just went into this little studio and you did your thing.
Well, before I went there, when I first went there, they said, oh, when you come to the studios, we'll put you up in one of our apartments. So I was expecting like a little bed sit or like a little hotel room type thing. Okay, Americans, when they say apartment, for us it's a house.
I was just going to say that.
Because it's actually it's houses that they've got on the plots of land that are near to the studio, and they're detached houses. Yeah. So I thought, okay, how is this an apartment? They said, oh, they said, sorry, it's kind of small. I said, we're from England. This is not
a mansion.
Because they gave me a 3-bedroom house for me, and my sister flew with me.
Oh,
and
wonderful.
I was thinking, wow, this is only me and my sister. How is this?
It's just the standards and the way that they do things.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's brilliant. And then they also give you a car so you can get around. So I thought, okay.
You're living the best life, right?
God is good. That's all I can say.
Indeed.
Amazing. Yeah, it was amazing because it was an amazing experience, and it's just continued. So yeah, I've really enjoyed it. And also going there, and they say you buy the ingredients and we'll give you, reimburse you, and then learning their names. For example, tomato puree is tomato paste.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you're learning the American jargon, so to speak.
Yes.
So to speak.
Yes. And also weights and measurements. They do things by volume. Okay. Mostly, not necessarily by weight. So I did part of the program on what the difference is.
Oh, that's excellent.
So they measure it by cups. Oh. So the problem with cups, depending on how you fill it up, it's not always the same.
It's not 100% correct.
No.
Yeah.
So if you fill up a cup 2 or 3 different times and then you weigh it, it won't weigh the same. No. So I said to them, it's
dependent on
better.
The contents, isn't it?
Yeah. Particularly if you're baking, it's better to weigh the ingredients.
Grams.
And this is like a pudding then.
Yeah. So cooking with kids.
Yes.
Why the title Cooking with Kids?
Right. So there's a little bit of a story there. So I got the book deal through a publisher's. So what I didn't know is following me on social media was a publishing company. So they reached out and they said, we would like you to come in for a meeting. So I thought, yes. Okay, so I'm going to go in there with all my ideas, and I want this, and I want that, and the cover look like this, and that. No, that is not how it works.
Okay.
How it works is when you go in, they're going to tell you what they would like. So they said, so I went in and said, oh, I was thinking of this and that and blah, blah. And they went, actually, we wanted to pitch an idea to you. How about a children's book? I thought, So I thought, opportunity doesn't always come packaged exactly the way you want it, and there's no way I'm passing up this opportunity. I said, yeah, that's fine. So they took out like a mock-up they'd already done of the book to show me how it would look. Yeah. I thought, yeah, this is good. So that's how it came about. In terms of the title, the publishers do the title. All I do is supply the text, and they do the rest, so even the layout.
So the hard work was done. The hard work was done for you. In a way.
In a way, yes. Yeah. Yes. So I'll say that. Yeah. In a way. So I had to write all the text.
The contents.
But they do all the pictures, and they basically say for each recipe, just give us a picture of what it should look like, and then we will do the rest.
Oh, wow.
So the title, they came up with the title and the book cover and everything, and the graphics.
So the experience was great.
Yes.
The opportunity was greater.
Yes.
Now, if there was anything that you would have changed in that with regards to your book, what would it be?
What would I change? I don't know. Maybe I would have... I don't know. Writing is kind of like an art form, and it's a bit like painting as well. You can paint a picture, and even when you've finished, you can still go back and go, maybe I could change this, but it doesn't necessarily mean it would improve it or make it any better or worse. Yeah. It's just, as an artist, you're always thinking of other things. Yeah. So with the cookbook, I don't know if I'd do anything different. I just think if I think of anything else, I'm going to put that into a new book. So in the future, I would put it into a different book. Okay. And this one, I was really pleased because when they say what happens is once they've done the graphics, they send you a PDF, a huge PDF
that you have to go through.
That you go through. To be honest, it wasn't that difficult because you're so fascinated. You're like, oh wow, here's my book, and I'm looking at all the pictures, and you go through it, and it's quite amazing to see how it's developed,
how it's transformed from your ideas on a piece of paper to
from the Word document to this brightly coloured document, which is really great. So it's good. It's been good.
So with regards to the book's distribution, I know there are a number of outlets. So is this book worldwide?
It's available worldwide. So if you go to my website, KirlySuesKitchen.co.uk, KirlySues Kitchen, KirlySuesKitchen, and you go to shop, there's a number of ways. You can either purchase it via PayPal, or there's a Amazon button. You can click through to either of those. Also, if you're a Seventh-day Adventist, I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, which is a Christian religion, in the Seventh-day Adventist bookshops, it's available in most of them nationwide, and the publishers will deliver anywhere in the world. If you're in the UK, then you get it through Amazon or the publishers, but if you're outside of the UK, definitely click on the PayPal, because there's 3 different PayPal buttons, and they will deliver to wherever you are in the world.
Excellent. So it's fully accessible, people, so there's no excuse why you shouldn't tap into this young lady and purchase this wonderful book. Now, you mentioned future books.
Yeah.
Now, that's interesting also, for the simple reason you had that opportunity. That book was part you, part someone else, because obviously they proposed something to yourself. Now, future books, like, you must have these awesome ideas in your head of what you want to do and how you're going to do it. And my question to you would be, when will you be doing it?
Well, when you sign a publishing deal, it's up until a certain date, and the publishing deal for this particular book ends on a particular date. So once that date comes, then they will renegotiate the contract. Okay. So then once they do that, so then they will either say, we will reprint this, or they may say, actually, if you do a second book, but I've already started, because what I don't want is for them to say, do a second book, and I'm thinking I'm too busy. So as I'm going along, I'm just collating all the different recipes to go into the new one.
It sounds so amazing.
Thank you.
I mean, I have taken a look at the book, and I'm intrigued, because obviously, well, it's not obvious to you, but to me it is, that I'm actually vegan also. So having Suzanne in, it's like ticking all the boxes for me personally. Even though it wasn't a personal venture, it was just nice to have somebody who understood where I was coming from, and is living the journey that I'm living and experiencing the things that I experience. And having conversated with Suzanne, we're on the same page. We're going the same journey. Now she's taken hers to another level, which for me, I can actually gain a lot of knowledge and experience from yourself. You're educating me, and I'm going to learn a lot from you. So my suggestion to people who are vegans or thinking about becoming from vegetarian to vegan is to check out Curly Sue's Kitchen and purchase that book. I mean, what I've read so far looks pretty awesome.
Because it's not just the recipes. I mean, it's got 75 recipes, but it also has information on how to become a vegan, substituting eggs, and all sorts of different things like that as well.
That's excellent. And that's what I wanted you to actually come out and say, because it's not just a cookbook. It's informative. It gives you some really good... The little information that I took from what I read was like, okay, this is a book I need to buy. Even though it says cooking with children. Well, we're all children at heart, right?
To be honest, I've had a lot of adults buy the book.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yes, because on my YouTube channel, people comment below. So I've got a few videos promoting the book and giving people information about my book. But some people have commented and said, actually, I'm an adult, but I'm not good at cooking, or I'm new to vegan cooking, so I think this will be better for me. So if you're a beginner and you want to start off with vegan cooking, it's perfect.
I mean, the book's awesome. I'm not just saying that because Suzanne is here with me. It's quite refreshing as a vegan to have a whole book that helps you, get things in order. Sometimes we take journeys and we're not 100% sure why we're doing things, but sometimes we listen to our bodies and our bodies say, well, no, your body's rejecting this, your body's rejecting that, and we find ourselves down a road that we don't necessarily know a lot about.
Okay.
So for me, it was me listening to my body and rejecting certain foods that's taken me on this path. So it's great for me.
I'm very pleased.
And I think a lot of other people will be happy to purchase this book. I mean, I'm kind of like lost for words, because it's like, who gets this? Like, you come here today, you have a book that's going to solve all my problems, if I have any.
Thank
you know,
you.
I mean, I skimmed through the book slightly, and it's like there's information that shows me I'm doing the right thing.
Thank you.
Which is awesome. Thumbs
I'm
up to
glad,
you.
because for me it's to help people, because I don't want people to feel being a vegan is too much of a challenge. I want to show them that actually with the right information it's not difficult at all, particularly if you're new to veganism now. I mean, there's so much help and there's so much choice nowadays, but obviously you still need a little bit of navigating the supermarkets and so forth as well, but yeah.
So is there anything that you would like to share with us? Obviously you talked about your book. You've done TV presenting as well.
I do have a TV presenting background. I actually have a theatrical background, because the school I went to was a Sylvia Young Theatre School in central London. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're connected again.
Oh, did you?
My daughter.
Oh.
I'm from a theatre background as well.
Okay.
I staged musicals.
Right.
So it's like, oh my gosh.
Right.
We were supposed to meet.
Yeah.
So my daughter
Really?
attended Sylvia Young as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I went to Sylvia Young's, and when I left, I wanted to be an actress, and because I'm a Seventh-day Adventist and I'm a practicing Christian, some of the options that I was given weren't for me.
Yes.
There was one particular one where I was starting to be offered parts, which I thought, oh yeah, I've arrived now, this is great.
Yeah.
So there was a particular director and producer. He said, oh, I've heard about you, I've seen your work, I'd like you to be in my production. I'm just going to send you the script, tell me if you're interested in being in it. So I thought, okay, this is the level I want to be at. But the production was about a married man who I would be the girlfriend of the married man, I shoot the wife, and I'm the hero in the story. So I thought, no, Christian or no Christian, there's problems with that. So I decided it's going to be challenging to be an actress and sustain it as a living if I'm not able to just do no one does any part, but if it's
not something that you believe in, so so it goes against the grain.
Yeah, so it's more challenging for me because they have to fit in with my Christian values, and some things do and some things don't. So I thought, okay, let me switch from acting to presenting. So that's how I ended up going to America and to be a news anchor for a while, which turned into going there.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, what happened was I wanted to be a presenter in America. So I'm a Seventh-day Adventist, and what we have is kind of like a global board meeting. So from all of the 208 countries in the world, you have delegates who come together in one. It's usually America because they have the biggest venues. So it's called GC. So I knew for GC that it's broadcast to an audience of 13 million. So I thought, okay, they must need presenters. But I didn't know who to contact. So I rang a particular television company called 3ABN, and they said, actually, we are broadcasting it, but we're not producing it. So you need to call the GC headquarters. So that I started calling them, and it was a bit like the counsellor, it's not me, it's that one, it's not that one, not in a negative way, but it was just me finding out who it is. So I'm in the UK calling America, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to keep going because I'm finding out who this is. So eventually, I think after the 6th phone call, the guy said, the person you need is so-and-so. He's actually out of the country at the moment, but if you call back in an hour, he said if you email in an hour, he will pick up his emails because he's in an area with no Wi-Fi, but he does once a day come into a particular area to pick up his emails. So he says, make sure you include in the email this, and this. So I did that, and he called me and he said, we'd like to, speak to you a bit over the phone, which they did. So they kind of did a phone interview, and he said, but we need to see how you are on camera. Can you send us a show reel? So I sent them a link, and for some reason the link would not open. So I said to my agent, right, what am I going to do? And she said, right, you're going to have to spend every penny you've got, find the fastest courier thing and send them a hard copy as quick, and just get it there 24 hours, just spend money and get it there. Which I did, but before it actually arrived, they managed to open the link. So then he called me back and he said, congratulations, I want to tell you you're going to be the face for this event. Because what I didn't know is they were looking for a female presenter that wasn't too old or too young, was from an ethnic background, and didn't have an American accent. Because they didn't want it to look too US centric. So obviously I ticked all those boxes, but I didn't know. But I just thought, you know what, I'm going to try.
Oh wow!
So then they flew me to St. Louis, Missouri, to be the news anchor for it.
So how was that experience for you?
It was amazing. I'll tell you what happened is, after they said, congratulations, you're the face of it, I thought, oh yeah, great, fabulous. I put the phone down and I thought, Suzanne, what have you done? You told people, yes, I can do this, and now I was thinking, what
can I do it?
I don't know if it's what could I do it. I just started to panic. Wow. So I went and I took a class at the Actors Centre, and it was a presenting class with Catherine Wolfe. So when I went into the class, she gets everyone to say, why are you here? So when it came to me, I said, well, actually on Tuesday I'm flying out to America, blah blah blah. And she went, oh, okay, we'll come back to you. For some reason, I took offense at her response, because I just thought, why did she just said it like that?
Kind of dismissive.
I couldn't gauge because I don't know her. I couldn't gauge, but it was almost like, okay, I don't want to hear what you got to say, go to the next person. That's how it felt to me, and a good thing I didn't say anything. So she went around the whole class, and then she says, right, let's come back to Suzanne, because it's always good to hear professionals at work. And I thought, okay. Right.
Awesome.
So then throughout the class she said to me, why are you here? I said, well, I'm flying. She goes, no. She said, I know you're flying out and I know you're going to do the job, but why are you here? I said, well, I just wanted to make sure, that I know what I'm doing. She said, there's only one small thing that I've noticed. All I can say is, when you're presenting and you're co-presenting with someone else, when it's you finish talking and it's the next person's turn, just look to them, then come back then to the same position, but move slightly, don't freeze. And she said, and that's it. She said, you don't really need this class, go, you can do it. And that's all I needed to hear. I just needed her to say to me, you can do it, because I was just...
You're doubting yourself.
I don't know if it's doubting myself, but I wasn't sure if I'd learned everything that I needed to learn. I knew I could do it.
You had it within, but you just didn't know that you had...
I didn't know if I had all the technique down. That's
something you could master.
Yes, so when I went there, I was a bit nervous to start with, but as it went on, I thought, yes, I've got this.
You got this.
Yeah, so
you've had some amazing experiences.
I would say, yes.
I'm like, wow, wow, and wow. Like for you, how do you feel as a person, like all these journeys that you've been through and had so far, how does it make you feel as a person?
I'm grateful, and I always try to remain humble, because opportunities don't come your way every day. I am aware that I don't wait for the opportunities to come my way. I go after them, because I would never have got the opportunity had I not kind of knocked on the door and said, hello, do you need anyone? So I'm aware that if you want opportunities, you can't sit and wait and think Spielberg's going to come and go, okay, if you're not too busy, would you mind coming in? No, you have to keep pushing ahead and, you know, looking for the opportunities and approaching people and networking and so forth. So I'm grateful for all of the opportunities, and whenever I accomplish something, my dad always says to me, oh yes, I'm very proud of you, well done, well done. And then I always pause, and he's waiting for the pause, and then I always say, you haven't seen nothing yet. And he goes, all right, that's right, awesome. Let's see what you're going to do next. Good,
that's
good.
Awesome. That's good that you're always looking for the next thing, which is awesome, because it drives you as a person.
Well, I always think there's always more you can do. There's always further you can go. There's always more to learn. So I have to just keep the energy going and don't come up for air. So that's kind of my message to myself for this year. Don't come up for air.
No air at all, right?
No.
So when I think about all that you've discussed here, a couple of things spring to mind, like, what's your main aim and your mission doing what you do?
I want to get my own cooking show. So I've produced 3 episodes of a pilot for my own cooking show, and I'm in talks with some producers, some networks that I don't know yet, but I'm talking with them. I've got a call with them actually this afternoon to see if they can get me a show. So yeah, that's the direction I want to go in, is to do more television. Okay. So I've done all I can do, but I need a network to kind of pick it up and say, yes, we're going to run with it.
Sounds interesting.
So Netflix, Hulu, any of the big platforms. That's what I'm interested in. Amazon Prime, whoever.
Okay, that sounds like that could be a really interesting phone call.
Yeah. That isn't any of those, but.
So when you say that's your aim, is that UK based or American based? Or
I'm open.
You're open.
I'm open. Yeah, I'm open. I'm flexible, and I'm open because as I was saying earlier, the opportunities don't always come packaged exactly as you want it. So I have to see what comes my way. So I'm pushing and networking and knocking on doors, and they're starting to open, which is really
It seems like they've always been opening.
Yeah,
which is nice, because people go through experiences, and you seem to have a lot of ups and not so many downs. And
well, that's not true.
That's not true.
I mean, obviously, when you're in the media, a lot of the time people tell you the main highlights and the show reel. Yeah. I mean, I've had my ups and downs, and I've had difficult times as well. Okay. But what I've just learned is you have to keep going. If you fall down 7 times, get up 8 times. You have to keep pushing, 100%. Keep going. Yeah. So
you're driven by what you do.
Yes,
and you've got passion for what you do.
Yes,
and I think that's important, because if you don't love what you do and you don't believe in your journey, it's going to make your journey a little bit harder to achieve.
Yes.
So 2020.
Yes.
We're in 2020. I can hear you've got a few things in the pipeline.
Yes.
Tell me what else you really want to do.
Well, my book was published in November 2019. So I'm on a book tour at the moment. Okay. So my publishers have got me tons of dates, and some of the dates I've got because I've just reached out to different organizations, and some of them different people have approached me, so it's a combination. So some people say, oh, you've got loads of dates, but it's a combination. So my publishers gives me some dates. I have a publicist, Marcia Dixon. She does gets me some of the dates. Some of them I get myself, and some of them people approach me. So to get loads of dates, it has to be lots of effort.
Tapping into all different things.
Yes.
People tapping into you.
Yeah. So I'm going to be at V Fest in June. I'm just hoping this coronavirus thing will please subside, because obviously it
would hinder you otherwise.
It will. Well, it probably mean I won't be traveling as much, but it will probably mean I'll be having to do more Instagram lives or YouTube lives and things like that, and online things instead.
Which there are options at least.
Oh, of course.
So
yes.
you know, it won't rule out everything for you. You may not be having face-to-face contact with people, but you've got the other options.
Yes, definitely.
So your journey will continue.
Oh, most definitely. Yes. Yeah.
So let me see. I'm just trying to think outside the box here.
Okay. So shall I tell you other things that I'm up to?
I would love you to, because
Yes.
I really want people to understand you. I want people to get a true reflection of who you are. I know you've done a lot, you're doing a lot, but can you just open up a little bit more and just give them, you know, because a lot of people are intrigued by people writing a book, doing things, but they don't really know who you are as a person.
Okay.
And it'd be nice for them to actually get a little feel of that, and even elaborate a little bit more on other things that you're doing, wanting to do. Just
Well, me as a person, I suppose I was born and raised in the UK. I'm from North London, so I don't live too far from here. My background, my degree's in media and cultural studies, and my master's is in public relations. So obviously when it comes to promoting things, it's kind of my thing as well. So that's my background. I graduated from Middlesex University, and then I did my master's after that. So I've done a lot of stuff in that respect. I've done a lot of things within my church, which is the Seventh-day Adventist Church, which is a Christian religion. I do a lot of stuff in there, and actually a lot of Seventh-day Adventists are vegan and vegetarian. Not all, some eat meat and fish, but it does encourage us to be plant-based. So.
which is also interesting, because a lot of people may not know that.
Yes, I know.
So now you've opened up a bigger discussion.
Yes.
So elaborate more if you can.
Yeah, because I was on BBC Songs of Praise a couple of weeks ago, the 1st of March, the Kew Gardens episode. I was on there, and some people contacted the headquarters for the Seventh-day Adventist Church saying, oh, we just saw Kirly Sue on Songs of Praise, and we didn't realise that in your religion you encourage a plant-based diet, which is quite interesting because that's usually what our church is known for. But yes, because if you look at the blue zones in the world, where it's supposed to be the healthiest people, Adventists come under the blue zones as well. There's an area in the US called Loma Linda.
Okay.
I think almost everyone who lives there is Seventh-day Adventist, or vast majority, and that comes under the blue zone because of the healthy eating.
Oh, see, you live and you learn every day, right?
Yeah.
So you're keeping us well informed here.
Yes.
So based on what you're saying here today, there is so much information that you're giving us. So if anyone is listening and really wants to find out a bit more about Suzanne Kirlew, I think it's important that you really tap into her book, her website, and just find out a bit more information. Obviously, through her website you can be in contact. She does blogs as well, don't you?
Yes,
so
and speaking engagements as well.
Okay, so let's find out about her blog, shall we? Let's see if she can tell us a bit about her blogging.
Well, I try to kind of use the blog as my voice to kind of say things that I want to say, because my YouTube channel is specifically for vegan food and lifestyle, but with the blog I can be a bit more, just say whatever I want to say. So I put whatever's in my head kind of thing on there. So I've still got loads. I've always got things that I'm thinking of, because it's got blogs and I've got recipes on my website as well.
Okay.
So I'm always thinking of things. So articles, for example, one of the articles I've got on there is called New Start, and New Start is an anagram for nutrition, exercise, water, sunlight, temperance, air, rest, and trust in God.
Can you say that all over again, nice and slow?
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
New Start stands for nutrition, exercise, water, sunlight, temperance, air, rest, and trust in God. It's basically a program for health. So in the Seventh-day Adventist Church, that's kind of our healthy program. That's kind of the basis. And if you use the New Start to apply it to your life, it will help you with your health, basically. Health, yeah. So it gives you a balance, because we believe in healthy mind, healthy body, healthy spirit. So that balance is always good.
It's a really nice concept, and it's really interesting to know, because obviously if you're not part of a religion, sometimes you're not aware of certain things, and now you've highlighted things to me today that I wasn't privy to. I didn't know that information. Okay. So, and I know Seventh-day Adventists, and not actually having that conversation. It's never arisen.
Oh, okay.
So it's interesting that you're actually religion, you're eating, they're all intertwined.
Yeah.
Now, maybe a lot of people don't even know that.
Probably not, but I mean, it depends.
It depends on if your faith is within the faith that you're in.
Yes.
Because other religions don't necessarily practice the same.
No, because we have what we call the health message, where we help with healthy eating and exercise, rest, and things like that as well.
It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I really appreciate all that information.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else you want to tell us? Because I know you have got so much to say to me.
Well, I'm producing a series of videos based on the book. So, all going well, I will be filming those at the beginning of April.
Okay.
So I managed to get children to be, because it's cooking with kids, it's going to be 10 different video clips, and it will feature me cooking with different children. So I put a call out on social media, and I now have 14 children who want to be in the videos, which is fine. That's good.
Excellent.
That's good, yeah.
It's a good response.
It's an amazing response, because there was a friend of mine who, she owns a drama classes for kids, a company that does drama classes for kids, and she basically tags loads of parents and said, here's an opportunity, kind of thing. Which is great. A lot of people are interested in their plant-based diets and so forth as well, and opportunities for their kids as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good.
So being a vegan now, having written your book, done your presenting, your journey has been eventful.
Yes.
It seems extremely interesting.
Thank you.
How are you when it comes to time? Do you have that quality time for yourself, or do you feel that...
I make sure I do.
Okay.
Yes, because you have to have a balance, because there's no point being overscheduled and then telling people about health when you're running around like a headless chicken. No, I always try to get that balance, and always try to give myself some downtime, and also try to relax as well when I can. If I have a very busy period, then I try to go and get myself like a massage. I'll have a day off where I'm at home and I'm not doing anything at all, things like that. So yeah,
that's important, because obviously you're doing everything across the board. And when I say you're doing everything across the board, you're healthy eating, you're doing all these things to help other people, you're educating, you're presenting, you're displaying so many different avenues that people can be educated about what you do, how you do it, and you're actually doing it for yourself. And the thing that's really important, as busy as you are, you're still finding time for you, and for your inner being. And I think that's so important, to get that balance. Now, we have a lot of people who don't get that balance because they're so busy challenging their energies in success.
You have to balance it, because I learned it because my background is I used to be a internal communications consultant for corporate companies. So I'd go into the companies to solve a problem. And I did have a job once where I had to travel to 8 countries in 2 months. So, and there weren't, only one of them was in Europe. And then I had a boss who said, I don't care about my life, work comes first. And I thought, nah. So I've learned that you have to have a balance, and also if there's a family commitment of some sort, if there's like a family gathering, I'll just move things out of the diary. I'll just move things, because I think, you know what, you do not have to do every single booking. I mean, I don't joke when it comes to money. I take making money serious, because you know, I like to be in a particular position financially. Yes. But I do also realize it is not the be all and end all. Yeah. It can't motivate everything. There has to be a limit. Yeah. Because, you know, I always have financial goals, but there's a limit. At the end of the day, the money can't buy everything.
No, it can't. And it's so important to have that balance. Yes. And you sound like you have got that balance.
Thank you.
And it's refreshing to hear all that you do, you are getting that balance.
Yes. I had to force myself because I can be a bit of a workaholic, but then I have to monitor myself and think, right, do you think you've done enough now? Kind of thing. So, yeah, definitely.
So with regards to you as a person, your family unit, what's your highest point? We've discussed like other things that you're gonna be doing, you're thinking of doing, are doing.
Yeah.
When have you reached your highest point, do you think? Where do you want to go? I mean, obviously you've expressed that you want to have your own show. Mm-hmm. That's one aspect, but that's going to open up many more doors.
A lot, of course. Yes.
So
the highest point, I don't know if there's it's not a destination, it's a journey.
Yes.
So I don't think there will ever be a time where I think I have arrived.
Yes.
And that's it. Because like next weekend, I'm going to be going to an award ceremony because my book has won an award. So you could say, oh well, you've now arrived.
No.
But for me, it's a journey, and it's just to keep on that journey and keep finding ways to help other people and keep finding new and creative ideas to encourage people to eat healthy and more new plant-based recipes and stuff like that. So the journey just continues.
Yeah, which is what I was getting. I knew you was going to go that way because I know your journey's never ending.
No,
there's no top level. You're just going to keep on doing what you do.
Absolutely.
And keep educating and just taking the dynamics to another level.
Absolutely. Like Mary Berry is 80 something. She has loads of bookings. I thought, okay,
prime example, right?
Well, if she's still got bookings, then I've got way long to go. So yeah.
So we've had a lovely conversation today.
Thank you.
We've talked about so many things. You're doing so much. You're an awesome individual.
Thank you.
And I'm not just saying that because you're sat here in front of me. There's so much things that you're telling me that you're doing, been doing, and so on and so forth. And it's like, it's really inspirational to know that you're happy in what you're doing. It's a journey that you love.
Yes.
You seem to passionately love what you do, and the smile on your face says a lot about how you feel about what you're doing, who you are as a person. Mm-hmm. And I'd like people to be able to connect with you.
Sure.
I'd like you to let them know all your handles, where they can find you, where they can find the book.
So all they have to do is go to any social media and put in, so for example, YouTube, it's Kirly Sue, Kirly, Sue, S-U-E, and please comment, like, and subscribe. Please subscribe to our channel. For Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and LinkedIn, it's KirlySuesKitchen, Kirly, Sue's Kitchen, and I'm on all of those social media. And also my website is the same, KirlySuesKitchen.co.uk, and there's lots of information on there, and there's a couple of videos on there as well. And obviously, please go to the shop and buy the book. Click and buy the book, and there's some reviews of the book on there. There's different video clips showing the different reviews that people who have bought the book have done as well. So yes, and if they want to book me on the website, if you go to the contacts page, there's a form they can fill in if they want to book me for a particular event. I do bookings in churches, schools, conferences, festivals, all sorts of different events. I'm quite open.
Okay, so Kirly Sue's Kitchen, Kirly Sue, Suzanne Kirlew. She is ready, available. No matter where you want to find her, you'll be able to find her. So please, if she interests you in any possible way, please support her, all that she's doing. She's a wealth of knowledge. She's done so much. She's doing so much, and she continues to do a lot more.
Some people contact me through the website just to say, really like what you're doing, and just to send words of encouragement. And to be honest, it's amazing when people do that. It's really helpful.
Yeah,
so
it does make you feel like you're there, right?
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah, excellent. Well, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Suzanne for joining me today. If you wish to connect with me, to connect with Suzanne, you can contact me on my socials, which are Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, and they are TalkHonest. If you need to email me and you need to contact Suzanne, you can contact me on mandy@iliveradio.com. It's been a great pleasure having my guest here today.
Thank
you. I hope it's been good for you also.
Fabulous.
And I'd just like to take this opportunity to say thank you. Once again, and good night, and God bless.
What if we spoke honestly? 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 What if we spoke honestly?
Now put a twist up coming in as I now feel it, fear it, unraveling. Keep the fold of habit and distrust that I
You're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio. iLive Radio.